Good morning. Welcome. How's it going? Today is Monday, April 27th. My name is Angela. I'm a front-end developer and software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. Welcome to the channel. We mostly just do vanilla here, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And yeah, that's what we do. Today we are, oh, I didn't even get the chat ready. Hang on one moment here. You know how sometimes you're like, what am I forgetting? What didn't I do that I normally do? That was it. Nano Akia is here. Welcome. Happy to have you. GoGo Elmo is our mod in the chat. Malik Robinson. Here we are, day 20. Well, I guess technically today is day 27, but we are working on day 26. We're a day behind, and you know what? That's fine. I wanted to have everything wrapped up by the 30th, but such is life. We had a couple things spill into part 2, and I think we had one part 3. Well, we had a couple part 2s. I think that was it. And then I was able to double up on a couple of things and get little bit caught back up. That's fine. The whole point of this was to set aside time every day for 30 days to practice JavaScript, and it did wonders. Yeah, I am so much more comfortable with JavaScript than I ever thought I would be. I have a very clear, what do I want to call it? I have a very clear idea of what it is I need to work on moving forward. I would say probably filter, sort, and map are the 3 things that I really need to concentrate on. And I bet if I was just doing daily challenges, daily practice, and making sure that I'm incorporating those things into all of my future builds, I bet by the end of 2026, I could be dramatically improved. So it was a great little experiment. I'm glad that I did it. I am getting tired. I'm ready to wrap this up. I've been thinking about, okay, we're definitely not going to finish the last challenge on the last day, which is Thursday this week. However, I really want to take the weekend off. I really want to take the weekend off. If I take the weekend off and then resume the normal streaming schedule next week on Tuesday, I feel like I earned that. We'll have to see. We'll see how things go by Thursday. I haven't decided yet. I feel guilty taking time off. Yeah, so anyways, that's what we're doing today. More JavaScript. Do me a favor before we continue. If you haven't yet, would you be so kind as to like the video? Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm generally here 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We just practice vanilla builds here. That's what we do. So there's that. What are we working on today? We are working on day 26, drag and drop reorder list. So I will drop this link into the chat if you want to follow along. The GitHub repository is linked down below. Everything I do here is open source. So if you are free to fork or do whatever, yeah, do whatever you want. Everything I do on this channel is open source. So Nano Kia says, you shouldn't feel guilty, in my opinion, if you have had a fun 30 days and a break is well earned. I agree. They weren't all fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the majority of them. They weren't all fun. I had a couple, I feel like I did have a couple crash outs. Minor crash outs. I don't know. I was trying to hide it. I was trying not to show myself crashing out too much. I don't know how well I did. Anyways, here we are, day 26. Let's actually pull up our dev environment. More St. Paul police. I live in downtown St. Paul, Minnesota, and it's a small city, but there's always just a lot of activity. I live just a mile or so away from the nearest fire station, and there's this highway that runs along the back side of St. Paul, and there are just cars and fire trucks and ambulances and police cars just racing up and down the road all day long, and it's very loud. So Nano Akia says, English is not my first language. Bad English is. No, it's okay. It's okay. All good. We understand what you meant. Yes, we did. We understood what you meant. You have to sometimes give me a moment because I'm reading and interpreting all at the same time. So, nothing to apologize for. Okay, so what are we doing today? Build a simple list where users can drag items up or down to reorder them. So what's interesting about the drag and drop API is that I have known about this property for a long time. MDM draggable. I've known about draggable for ages. Never once did I think to look into this or understand what the point of this was. I used to put draggable false on images all the time. Let's just okay, I'm just going to go to my website as a demonstration. I don't do this anymore. I used to do it all the time because I hated this. This drove me crazy. So I learned about draggable false, and I used to put draggable false on everything. Never, like I said, never once did I actually look into that and find out what that attribute actually was, what it was a part of, or what it meant. Why? I don't know why. And then I just got over it, and I was like, yeah, I honestly don't care about it anymore. So, well, let's just go back to the API. HTML drag and drop interfaces enable applications to use drag and drop features in browsers. That's a heck of an opening statement. Okay. The user may select draggable elements with a mouse, drag those elements to a droppable element. Okay, so you have to have a draggable element that goes to a droppable element and drop them by releasing the mouse button. A translucent representation of the draggable elements follows the pointer during the drag operation. You can customize which elements become draggable because some are draggable by default and some are not. Like images, and I think links and anything that's text that's selected is draggable by default. But yeah, nothing else is draggable unless you actually make it draggable. So these we did make draggable. Well, ChatGPT made them draggable when I asked for the markup. So draggable, true. So I should be able to just take these things like that. Whereas if they were draggable false or just didn't have the attribute at all, you wouldn't be able to do that. So the focus is, I feel like drag start, drag over, and drag end are all events. Yeah, these are all events. And there's something called data transfer. Okay, so let's start with drag start. The drag start event is fired when the user starts dragging an element or text selection. This event is cancelable and may bubble up to the document and window objects. Use the event name in methods like add event listener or set an event handler property. Okay. Why do you need three? Why do you need three? Why do you need to start, do the thing, and then end? So you start, you drag over, and then you end. Why do you have to have three? That feels weird to me. But let's go back to okay, so draggable, true. CSS, don't care about you. Add event listener, drag start. Okay, and so all this is doing is adding a class to it. So the drag start isn't to do the dragging, it's just to do something to the text while you're dragging it. And drag end is to just do another thing while you're dragging it. So these event listeners don't rely on, so you don't need the event listeners to actually do the dragging. You just do things to the thing you're dragging. That's it. What's the point? Drag over. So the drag over event is fired when an element or text selection is being dragged or over a valid drop target. In this example, we have a draggable element inside a container. Try grabbing the element, dragging it over the other container, and releasing it. We use 3 event handlers here. In the drag start event handler, we get a reference to the element that the user dragged. In the drag over event handler, for the target container, we call event prevent default, which enables it to receive drop events. In the drop event handler, for the drop zone, we handle moving the draggable element from the original container to the drop zone. What does that mean? Handle. So here's drag start. So let dragged equal null. And then dragged becomes the thing you clicked on and started dragging, the event target. This is the drag start. Here's the drag over, prevent default to allow drop. Here's the drop. Prevent default action, open as a link for, okay, that was my next question. What are we preventing? So if it's a link, you're preventing opening the link, okay. Move dragged element to the selected drop target. If the event target has a class name drop zone, then the dragged parent node, remove child dragged, okay. So you remove it from the thing that you dragged it from, and then the event target, you append. So this is the target, the drop zone is the target. You append the child here. Do we actually have an MDN example that is helpful? This is an MDN example that's actually helpful. The last few, not helpful. Okay, so let's see here. Huh. Can you go back? No, you can't go back. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me. Let's try to use this. Okay. Drag drop. Okay, so here's what I do every time I'm not sure what to do is I just start typing. So I'm going to call this function init drag and drop. Okay, and then what is our, so here is our, well, we want to, what are we supposed to do? Build a simple list where users can drag items up or down to reorder them. So the drop zone is the same place. So let's just make, we'll just make this the root element. We're going to do everything here. Drag list. I think we need more stuff in the list too. I don't think that list is big enough. All right. And then I don't think we need to query selector all because we're using event delegation, right? So we're just getting the target. So we don't need to like loop through anything. And then I guess it would be, seems like it would be helpful if we were using local storage to remember that on page refresh. But I'm not going to get too crazy right now. Okay, let's go back to this right here. I'm just going to follow this. Why not? Let dragged. And then our source, document get element by ID, draggable. Do we need to for each? I don't think so. It would just be, we don't want to query selector all. That's going to give us like a whole list. Maybe just by attribute, anything that's draggable true. That's what I'm going to do. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to call this item. Oh, and this is the root. Query selector. Li draggable equals true. Oh, is it going to want me to do this? Okay. Drag start. Drag start. And then it's dragged equals event target. Okay. What's next? Store a ref on the dragged element. Reference, is that what that means? Store a reference on the dragged element. Okay. The target, the drop target, is inside the current container. Is that okay? Well, these both have a class of drop zone. But this specifically says drop target. That we can make the drop zone the parent container, right? Well, we'll find out. Here's my new attitude about ChatGPT. It will bail us out if we need it, right? That's where I'm at right now with this. So the drop zone is the current list. So really the drop zone is the root. So root, add event listener, drag over. We also need, so it's event prevent default. Prevent default to allow the drop, which would, if it was like a link, it would prevent the link from being linked. Okay, and then the root again is the drop. I mean, are we going to need If we're going to save it in local storage, though, do we have to save it as an array? Well, we're not there yet. I'm not sure. Drop. Again, we're going to prevent default. And then if the event target class name equals drag list class name or class list contains class name. The class name, the name class name is used for this property instead of class because it conflicts with the class keyword in many languages. The class name property of the element interface gets and sets the value of the class attribute of the specified element. Okay, why not class list contains? All right, I don't know. Oh, class name. Drag list. So I don't want to remove the child. I just want to append. Yeah, so it would actually be root append. Put it down at the bottom. Well, but it depends on where you're dropping it. What if you're dropping it at the beginning? What if you're moving it up? What if you're moving it to the middle? Well, I'm going to start with yeah, because this I can't move back up, right? This feels like kind of limiting. So if the drop zone basically exists, the thing that we're dropping it into, I guess I could just do root append the target. But you're only ever going to be able to put it at the last. So I don't really get that, but I don't know, let's at least see if this works. We don't have any errors yet. No, that doesn't work. Something is working. So maybe I still have to remove it from the beginning. Root, do I still have to remove it from the beginning? So the parent node is root. I think I can just do root remove child and then root append child. Remove child. and then append it down at the bottom. Well, we're getting the little green plus sign, right? Well, I mean, should I be moving this to like another? The whole point of this is that you reorder the same list, right? So if the, what does this one say? This is just removing classes. That's all that is. I also kind of, but the whole point of, not the whole point of, my impression is that event delegation kind of means you don't need a loop, right? The thing you click on is the thing you click on, so you don't have to loop through everything. What if we, so when we start dragging, we should see the console log, right? Oh, there, something happened. Dragged. Okay, so it works on the first one. Okay, kind of makes me feel like we're going to have to loop through those things. So I think we do have to do a loop, a query selector all, and then get the target. That's what that makes me think. But shouldn't I at least be able to drag and drop the first one? And just like boop, down here? Shouldn't I be allowed to do that? What happens when I do this? It's just getting what it is. Okay. Just do this. There we go. Okay. So now that's at least right, but I still can't drag and drop these. Okay. So I think this is working. I think this is like a tiny bit pointless right now because they're not links, so they wouldn't be doing anything anyways. This is not working. Well, I don't know. Should we look at some of the other things here? Should we keep reading the documentation? Okay. Oh, so here's insert before. Does it not want me to do append? Insert before, class toggling, DOM reordering, node insert before. What's this data transfer? Okay. The data transfer object is used to hold any data transferred between contexts, such as drag and drop operation or clipboard read write. It may hold one or more data items, each of one or more data types. Data transfer was primarily designed for the HTML drag and drop API. Well, that's handy. As the drag event data transfer property and is still specified in the HTML drag and drop section, but it is now used by other APIs, such as clipboard event, clipboard data, and input event data transfer. However, other APIs, okay. Show me an example. Reading the data in a paste or drop event. So, okay, append child. All these examples say append child. This says insert before. The insert before method of the node interface inserts a node before a reference node as a child of a specified parent node. Okay, so I feel like I'm supposed to be using so if event type drop, event prevent default, event target, next sibling, query selector all, so this must be a table. Transfer, event data transfer. We're creating an ordered list. Okay, for item of transfer items. So then you're doing a for loop and appending the child to whatever you dropped onto. Am I reading this right? So for us, we would do transfer equals event data transfer. And then so do we want to loop through this again, do another for each loop here? Yeah, probably. We don't need this. We're already doing the prevent default, right? Yeah. Where's this coming from? Where's items? So is this just part of this? It must be. You're just getting the items in the data transfer? Okay. Let's keep going. I don't know. We'll have ChatGPT bail us out if it doesn't work, right? That's what we call a good attitude. Event data transfer. Whoops. Okay. And then, see, I'm confused because I have something called items. That's why I'm a little bit confused. But I think items is coming from this. These are the items. Am I supposed to create elements? No, I don't think so. Let's just keep going. Item of transfer items. Why do I have to? Why do I have to create it? Aren't I already dragging it? I think I have to have ChatGPT explain this to me. This isn't, I don't. Aren't I just dropping the thing that I'm dragging? Why do I have to create it? Am I removing it? Where's our... Yeah, the event target. Insert before. Event target. I'm going to go back to root append. Even though I'm not sure that that's right. Okay. ChatGPT, teach me the way. Let me see here. Let me open up our previous conversation. Okay. Okay. Teach us, ChatGPT, how to do it. Okay. Here's where I'm at with drag and drop. I'm a little lost. I'm reading MDN, and I'm trying to put the pieces together. Whoa, hang on. Trying to put the pieces together based on the examples, but I'm astray. Can you please help me and explain it? I don't think I'm muted. Yeah, I don't think I'm muted. Oops. No, but hey, listen. Often I am muted. So, yeah, often I am the one muted. So it's all good. Okay. Good news. We're not far off. The part that's sending you astray is MDN's examples are often for dragging data files between places. Oh, so they use data transfer. Although, to be fair, ChatGPT, you put data transfer in as MDN prep. So how am I supposed to know? Okay, I'm gonna try to not get mad at ChatGPT today. I'm gonna try real hard. For reordering DOM elements inside the same list, you mostly do not need data transfer. What you have right, let dragged. Good. You need a variable to remember the item currently being dragged. Dragged equals the event target. Good. That stores the dragged li. Drag over, add event listener. Good. Without this, dropping is not allowed. Okay. What's wrong here? That's the wrong mental model for this project. I haven't explicitly said to stop using the term mental model, so I can't get mad at ChatGPT for constantly saying that. You're not transferring external data, you're moving an existing DOM node. So instead of reading data transfer items, think, okay, I already know what item is being dragged. Now I need to know where it is dropped. Oh, so it put, okay, so this makes sense to me. So it put the drag start and the drag end inside the for each loop. So that was good. We figured out that this was important. We had to actually do that. And then, and then the drag start and the drag end are the item, and the root is the drag over. But the root is, look, the root is still insert the dragged and the target. So, okay. Let's modify. I guess, I can't, if I look at the documentation and I start typing things out and it doesn't really work, how am I supposed to really figure out how to do it if I don't see a working example? And what's the difference between seeing a working example from ChatGPT versus a working example from Stack Overflow, or a blog post that I Googled, or a Medium article that came up in Google results? What's the difference, right? I can only put the pieces together so many times on something new before I have any idea what's going on. So, okay. Let's go ahead and put these side by side and we'll edit our code. And that is what we call learning. So here's our for each. So we've got our first class list add is dragging. I don't know why I need that. Okay, why do I need this? This makes me feel like drag end is kind of pointless. Why am I adding classes? What am I doing? Am I styling something? So this, I'm not going to put this in there because I think that's pointless. And then we've got our drag over. Well, where's the drop? So it's just drag end, drag start, drag end, and then drag over. So this, wait a second. We've got drag start. Drag over. So we don't need a drop. There is no drop. I'm not going to do a drag end. Oh, do we need a drag end so dragged equals null? All right. I'm not doing the class thing because I think it's pointless. I'm not styling anything that's being dragged. Drag end. Dragged. Dragged equals null. Okay. And then everything else happens in the drag over. Got it. Here we go, closest LI. The target is the closest LI. So that answers my question of how do you go back and forth, up and down, or grab things from the middle. So we've got the target equals, whoops, the event target, and we're looking for the closest LI. Got it. And then if there is no target, or the target equals what is being dragged, return. Okay. So if there's no target, or if the target equals the thing that's being dragged, we want to just stop. And then we take the root, we insert before, the dragged thing before the target. So we're putting it on top of the target. Got it. Well, should we see if it works? This is exciting. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, we need more items. Let's add some more items. Let's add some more items. Let's see here. Where's our fruit list? Where's our fruit list from a couple days ago? Query params. Yes, right here. We love a list of fruit. Whoops. Really? Okay, hang on. Obviously, this isn't right. Now we have a list of fruit. Let's drag some fruit. All right. So I think what this means now is that we should try to save this in local storage, right? Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Do we want to push our luck? So I feel like, so here's our items, right? I feel like our items would probably change. And then we would have a new list of items here, right? Yes? Let's console log the items twice. Oh, it's only, and we probably want to get the, am I allowed to do this? Item, text content. Oh, and this isn't gonna log the new items until I've done the reorder. Oh, it's like logging every single, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. It's good to console log so you can see what's happening, right? Maybe it's better to do this here at drag end. But it doesn't show us everything. Oh, probably want to do it outside of the event, right? Whoops. Oh, that's not going to work because you need to see it happen. I want to see the whole list. If I can't see the whole list after I've dragged, maybe that's where I could use the event listener drop. I just want to see the whole list again after I've dropped. So maybe, how would I do? Because if I couldn't get the list again, how would I save it? Right? I don't think, yeah, that's not going to do what I want. That's just going to do it twice. I mean, so we could use drop, right? Can't we just use drop? Drag start, drag over, drag end. Should we ask? Can I use the drop event to get the final list? Yes. But with an important distinction, drop is for finalizing, not for reordering. That's what I think what I said. After the user finishes dragging, drop is a great place to read the final order, log it, save it. Yes. Okay. I want to see it. That's what I want. I just want to see it. So root, add event listener, drop. Let's see if we can do this. Maybe I need to for each again through the items. Do I for each inside the drop or outside? I don't know. Items. So there would be our starting list. So I'm going to move apple before peach. I'm going to move peach before strawberry. No. The list stays the same. So I think I have to do it the other way around for each item. Okay, I'm going to move apple before peach. Pineapple before grapes. Okay. Okay, I don't care about this anymore. That's working. Let's keep reading, shall we? Example. Get the final order. You got to try. Get the final order. Root, add event listener, drop. Items. Root, query select. Okay. Const, order. Oh, okay. Map. The thing that I really don't know how to do. Order. Array from items. Map, item, item, text content, trim. Okay. Well, so I was right the first time. But I was doing a for each inside of the drop event listener. So we already know what our items are, right? I mean, can't we just reference this up here and get the new list? Oh, we have to do order equals items, item. Ugh, Angela. Array from. Array from items and then map. And then we return the item text content trim. I don't know if we can reuse this up here. I feel like we should be able to, but I don't know. If you try to reorder on drop, you'll run into problems. You don't know where the user hovered during drag. The UI won't update while dragging. It feels broken. Nothing moves until release. Clean separation, this is the key. Drag start, remember the item. Drag over, move item in the live UI. Drag end, cleanup. So you're forgetting. That's why the null. Drag end, dragged equals null. That's the cleanup. Okay, that makes sense. Drop, read the final state. I came up with that one. Sometimes drop won't fire unless you also have drag over, prevent default. You already have that, so you're good. Use drop to observe the result, not to control the interaction. All right, let's see if that works. So I'm going to drag peach above banana. I think I have to, yeah, I think I have to get the new list. Yeah, that's, and then this is just getting, okay. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so how do we feel now about saving this in local storage? I mean, we're only an hour in. I feel like we could go back and look at our, what was it? It was task list, formerly called the simple task list. I took the word simple off. It's just now the task list. So check local storage for the task list. So we'll do saved list. We'll call ours the reordered list. The list array, JSON parse saved list or empty array. Okay. Show the no tasks yet message. I don't think we need to worry about this. This is just where we're doing the task items. And then here in the click handler for the button, we update the local storage task list. So we're already getting the updated list right here, right? The order. We're getting the new order there. So we would just local storage, set item, order list, JSON stringify the list array. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's say hello to a few people in the chat. So, Julian is here. Osloy is here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming to hang out. Andrew is here. Drag and drop. I remember having to figure that out for a chess game I wrote. Fun stuff. Strawberry with an unknown number of R's. Do I have too many R's in strawberry? Let's go back. Let's make a copy of this. I think that's right. And Osloy thinks that the console log for the drag end is once for every pixel removed or moved. That's probably seems like that's what was happening. What you said sounds reasonable. I'm curious to see how drag and drop is done. Dermorzi says, will it not be better to transform the node list into an array directly after you get the node list, because for each is also available on arrays? I don't know. That's such a good question. I don't know enough to answer that question or to know if that's right or wrong, but I think that that's a good question. As I continue to learn, I'm clearly taking the map from ChatGPT. So here we are. It works. And Osloy says, it's a weird case where LLMs get messed up. They used to not know how many R's were in strawberry. I didn't know that. So, okay. Let's see if we can get local storage working based on what we did with our task list. I feel like we can do this. So we're going to refer to this. Oh, I guess we could just use this. Yeah. Okay. So first, we'll do this. So we'll get our saved list, define saved list, local storage, get item, and I'm going to call it ordered list. And then let the list array, let the list array equal, JSON parse the saved list. So far, so good. Or an empty array. Got it. So we're checking first. I don't care about this because I don't have like an empty message. This is the task item stuff. So I think really this is what we want here. Probably right here. So list array. So this is already being done here. So I think we just need this resetting after the drop event, because this right here we're already doing right here with order, right? So local storage, set item, what did I call it? Ordered list, JSON, stringify the list array. Oh, that's why. There we go. Okay, why are you doing that? Did I type this out correctly? Local storage. There we go. What do we think? Okay, but this is the order, right? Let order. That's what we called it. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, what do we think is going to happen? Is it in the right order? Yeah, it is. Look at that. Apple, banana, orange, strawberry, blueberry, mango, pineapple, watermelon, grapes, peach. Let's refresh. Wait. So we lost our order on refresh. Okay. We're pretty close though, because we saved. That means that we saved it. It's just not showing up here. So I think that means that order has to be the thing that's loading, that's doing it on page load, right? Okay. Which means list array has to be the thing that we're creating. Okay, we're close. I feel like I'm close. Yeah, right here. Okay, get and display tasks on page load. So we have to, so this is the, so this is the initial list right here. Oh, maybe. Yeah, we're still loading. See, we have to load the, if it's saved in local storage, then we would be doing not this, but we still have to get this if they're new to the page, if they're on the page for the first time. So wouldn't it be if the order is saved in local storage, you would use that. If not, then you would just get these, right? Let's here, I made a couple changes. Let's at least make sure this works. So refresh. I'm gonna move banana down. Here's our new ordered list. And I feel like you would do something like this. If order, or wait, so if there's, hang on. Or maybe what we do is we check if there's a saved list. We check if there's a saved list. So if there's a saved list, I kind of want to do, I don't know if this is going to work. Let order, if there's a saved list, then items equals that. Else, this. No, that doesn't seem right. I need, or if there's a saved list, if there's a saved list, I need the items to equal, oh, maybe we could just do, so or that is the order, then items equals the order. Just reassign it. Else, and we can do let items. Because we need to be able to, on page load, display whatever has been saved, right? I don't think that worked. Yeah, actually, it kind of broke the whole thing. I feel like this was such a good idea, though. Yeah, I feel like this was such a good idea. Oh, item add event listener is not a function. Hang on. Okay. Probably because there's a saved list, and this is not an actual thing. That's probably why. So how do I get the actual thing? It's way down here. Do I have to redo this? Well, we're parsing this, so the order is that we're parsing the saved list or we're getting an empty array. This is the actual order down here. it would be cool to know how to do this. Let's look at our task list. There's other things happening here. Okay, so we're checking local storage for the task list. This is our saved list. This is the list array. This is just to show the message if there isn't anything. Here's where we create everything. Render it to the DOM. This is the button to update the local storage, to remove. So when we click on a button, we filter out that thing from the list array, and then we update the list array, the local storage, right? And then we actually remove the thing, okay? And so this is just the create list items function. So what else is going on in here? So we're updating the list array as we remove things. We're not removing things, we're just reordering things. As we add things, we just push. Well, we're already getting our thing, right? And then we update get and display tasks on page load. Okay, I actually think that this is the missing piece right here at the end. We just need to, at the very end, display our things. So I'm gonna try it one more time. Let's just Control Z our way out of this mess. See, I'm not sure if I should go back to calling this list array. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like that, list array. So this is the order, and then let's see if I can console log the new order this way. Oops. Okay. Remove pineapple. Okay, so we are getting the correct order. And then let's see if it's saved in local storage. Yeah, it's saved in local storage. Apple, orange, grapes, strawberry, banana, blueberry, mango, watermelon, pineapple, peach. So if it's already reordered, so this is just the function. This is the form event listener. And then outside of the event listener, it's just doing order. And then it's running this function again. Get and display tasks on page load. So I kind of feel like that's this right here, right? So if we make, but we need, So maybe we just do it right here. Maybe we just for each. But is that going to... So the drop is the end. It's the result. Can I get order outside of this? Yeah. So I'm going to take peach and make it second. Where's our application? Yep, that's our updated list. So we're getting peach outside. I mean, I want to just like for each through the order as the last thing, but is that going to for each item? Yeah, that makes kind of okay. But we were creating items on the task list. That's why this worked. We're creating those items. See, that's why I want order. What happens if I console log order on page load? Then what? See, that's why that's why I want to just go through the order. So we're getting the correct order on page load up here. So I feel like it would be, if there's a save list, then use order instead of items, which means that this would probably be a function. We can call this we'll just call this drag start and end, and this will just take in we'll just call this data, and then this would be data. Put that there, and then put this right there. And then I'm just going to say if saved list this would be the order, else whoops, this would be the items. This looks a little messy. This needs to go. That way we can reuse this. And then based on whatever exists, we just load those things. Right? But are we loading the correct things? Because the order is just an array. Yeah, the order is just an array. It's not the actual. It's not like query selector all is a node list. That's what items are. Okay, so I'm gonna ask for help. I'm ready. I'm ready for help. ChatGPT. Okay. I think I'm doing really well. But I need some help. Can you get me to the finish line? Okay. Yes, you're close. The main problem is here. Yeah. Order is an array of strings from local storage. Yeah, I kind of figured that out too late. Yeah, expects actual DOM elements. So you need to read the save order, reorder the existing li elements to match it, and then add drag events to the actual li elements. Here's the cleaned up version. So here's our saved list. Here's our saved order. So this is like, hey, is there a saved list? Yes. Get the saved list, else it's an empty array. Okay. Let dragged, function, save order. The items, query selector all, the order. Okay, so this got moved up. We know this works. Restore order. If there's a saved order length, if there's no saved order length return, so if it doesn't exist, if there isn't anything in it, the saved items, the array from, okay, saved order for each, okay, and then this went down here, and then this, okay. Okay, let's do it. And Dermozy is asking, now you know where an element must be inserted. Why not move the element with insert before or insert after? I think we are. Insert before, right here. Right? All right, let's get this typed out. Okay. All right. I need to zoom out a little bit here. There we go. So we have our saved list. And we have our saved order. And we're checking to see if there's a saved list. If so, we will get the JSON, parse, saved list, else it's an empty array. Got it. And then here's our let dragged. I don't think we need this. And we'll do a function save order. Yeah, we were kind of way off. I was kind of way off. So this is from down here. So we'll come back to that, I'm sure. So that gets its own function. That makes sense. And then we want to restore order. And if there's no saved order, we'll just stop and return. And then here's our items, which needs to be an array from. And Ramosi already brought that up in the chat. Normally I write mostly something like this. Const items equals array from document query selector all, and then after this you have all options for arrays available, like map, filter, reduce. Yeah, that's honestly a really good point. Yeah, might be a good idea to just start doing that. I agree. And this is just getting all of the LIs, which does make sense. Oops. We can take this out. So here's our items. I'm going to take this out. And then we can take this out. I don't think we need this. I'm going to take this out. Saved order for each item. Oh, I think I'm doing this in the wrong place. Yeah. Yeah, because this is our saved order. Got it. Saved order for each saved item, saved text. We want the matching items. And then we're returning that item that we found if it equals the saved text. And then if there's a matching item, we want to append the matching item to the root. Okay. Okay, so this should load, this should be our saved local storage on page load. Now we want to do our drag events, which is also its own function. And I think that's where we can reuse our thing. Add drag events. Oh, and it is getting all the draggable. Okay, and then we are just doing the restore, initializing these two things. And then here's our drag over. This doesn't change. This stays the same. This stays the same. And then this add event listener is just drop the saved order. Well, I'm sure I would have gotten here on my own if I had an unlimited amount of time. Let's see what happens. Okay. I need to be let. Oh, I bet. Save order. Okay, I'm going to move apple down before watermelon. Okay, refresh. We'll try it again. Okay, moving banana down. Okay, nothing's getting saved. Did I miss something? Oh, hang on. I think this. Oops. Shiza, what did I do wrong? I mean, there's any number of things I could have done wrong here, huh? Where's the other screen? So our items, root query selector all, our original order, the array from items, map item, okay. Local storage, set item, ordered list, got it. Here's restore order. If there's no saved order, return. There's our saved order, our saved text. Oh, I have to. Sorry about that. I tried to mute myself before the first one came out. Okay. So the problem is we're not actually saving anything in local storage. Wait a second. Save order. Oh, again, saved save order. That's why. Okay, that I had that spelled wrong. I had the wrong one. There we go. Now what happens when we refresh? Okay. ChatGPT to the rescue. I mean, you got to learn somehow, right? ChatGPT is as good a teacher as anybody else. I'm kind of over feeling sorry for myself that JavaScript fairy dust doesn't just sprinkle down during these tasks and bless me with all of the knowledge that I need, right? So peach, strawberry, orange. Peach, strawberry, orange. Watermelon. The worst fruit, watermelon. The worst fruit. All the melons are the worst fruits. Okay, there it is. Let's see here. Scheiße. That is, I think that's German for shit. That's what I think it is. Osloy says, I learned by wishing really hard that I knew the answer until I know the answer. Yeah. You know, what are you going to do? I don't know. I got most of these tasks completed on my own with my rubbing together the two brain cells in my head, right? They got more complex as these tasks continued. And here's the cool thing. I actually learned something. Even the things that I needed ChatGPT to finish for me, I still got part of the way there. I just needed a little help. And I know I probably should not continue to say this, but I'm going to continue to say it. If I wasn't streaming, I would just sit here and tough it out, but I don't have that kind of time, and I don't think you do either, and I don't think it would be that interesting. So, oh, Dermozy says, I'm from Germany, by the way. Got it. Did I say it right? Sounds better sometimes than just dropping shit. Scheiße. Scheiße. It sounds a little more exotic when you swear in a different language. So, I'm good with this. I did learn a lot from this. ChatGPT is a good teacher. I don't think that I just copied and pasted code from ChatGPT. I read the documentation, I read what it had to say. It does make sense, and it is complex. And at the end of all of this, I have this really cool little library of UI elements to refer to and to draw from. So, and that's what counts. That's what I care about. I think that I will end up styling this. In fact, we could style this. Should we? We've got time. We've got a few minutes. Let's style this so it looks kind of fancy. Let's do it. Close this. So now we have two, I think, really good examples of local storage and how to use local storage and how to get items out of local storage and redisplay them, right? Yeah, right on here. Okay, this is drag and drop. Dermozy says the S at the end must be pronounced harder, but overall you pronounced it right. Awesome. It is pronounced like a Z. This is what I'm here for. Lessons on swearing in German. That's what we're all here for. Okay, so this is the drag list. Let's end with a little CSS, which is honestly the thing that I actually know how to do and I'm really good at. So for the most part. New margin 0. We'll probably need a little padding eventually, but let's just clear out some styles here. List style type. None. And then drag list li. We'll do I'll give these just some padding. And then we'll do drag list, li. We'll do nth of type. Whoops. Nth of type. And we'll give this a background color of dark pink, and then we'll give the whole thing a border. 1 pixel solid, dark pink. There. Let's zoom out a little bit. There, so it keeps its style. Let's make the we'll just do a different, let's do the light pink for the other ones. There, that looks kind of cute, right? You don't really get like a real, maybe there's something to adding the class while it's being dragged kind of does help it. You do kind of see it, right? Should we do that? No, I don't really care. I don't really care. because the class would just be on the thing that's being dragged. And I don't feel like I need to, yeah. But that looks kind of cute. We'll leave it at that. Let's go ahead and commit. Drag and drop JS and styles. Okay. And we can go ahead and deploy this. This was day 26. And we have some styles. Okay. Turn off live server. Close this. Oops. All right. Let's see if things work. So task list. Oh, that's the other, yeah, that's the other thing. I'm just going to clear all. So I'm going to move Apple down. Yeah, it looks like it's working. You can't really move anything down to the very bottom, can you, without dragging something up, but that's fine. All right, well, this appears to all be working. So I think this is definitely one of those things that need a little extra help with today. And you know what? I'm over it. Give me all the help. Give me all the help. I want all the help. And we're coming in right at 2 hours. So what do we have left this week? Resizable panels or split view, keyboard shortcuts, intersection observer, settings, preferences panel. So yeah, today's Monday. We'll work on the resizable panels, keyboard shortcuts, intersection observer now through Thursday. And then next week we're going to come back and finish the last thing, the settings preferences panel, because that just sounds like something that's going to take more than one day. That's going to be the last thing that we work on. So we'll get through these next 3 things. I'm going to scope out these next 3 things this afternoon and get those pages built. So I will have a better idea of what I'm in for. I have no idea. Well, keyboard shortcuts, yes. We've done some keyboard shortcuts. I mean, the escape key to close the navigation, the arrow key for the tabbing. I have used intersection observer in the past for scroll triggers. I do that on my own website. So that's all intersection observer on my own website. So I'm familiar with that. And the settings preferences panel, I have no idea what ChatGPT has in store for that. None whatsoever. So Yeah, like I said, I would love it if the JavaScript fairy dust would just bless me with, just being able to glance at a couple of MDM pages and be like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. That's exactly, I know exactly how to do that. I mean, probably with more experience, that'll start to happen more, but you're not going to get there if you don't get here, if you're not doing this first. And I'm grateful to have our friend to teach us, right? Asley says, I personally have never seen a web page override Control F in a way that I liked. I don't know what that means. Control F. Oh, are you suggesting that that is one of our preferences or settings? But I've liked other keyboard shortcuts on site. Oh, okay. So as the keyboard shortcut. Well, I should have these next 3 pages built out before tomorrow, and we can take a look at, we can peruse and see. Yeah, find in page and see. Of course, I know what Control F is. I had to think about that for a second. I'm not actively thinking to myself, oh, Control F. I'm just doing it. That's why. Okay, Angela, move on. Yeah, find a page. I know it. I do know what it is. I just had a little brain meltdown there for a second. Okay, do me a favor. I think this was a good day. Uh, I'm I'm just given into the fact that for some of these I need some help, and today was one of those days. Do me a favor. If you would be so kind as to like this video before you leave, I would appreciate it. It helps the algorithm, helps get this pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. Subscribe if you're new here. I'm generally here 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we just build stuff and practice vanilla. That's really all that we do here. And we have a good time doing it. And if you didn't already know, we're on the tail end of the 30 days of vanilla JavaScript. This is where I just wanted to set aside a month where I go live every single day. I work on a project and I try to get better at JavaScript, and it worked. I don't even really know how to explain how well this worked. I'm not perfect. I'm not an expert, but I am so much more comfortable with JavaScript, and I'm thrilled. I'm like genuinely very happy that I have done this, even though I've had a couple cranky days. I've had a couple crash out days. I am genuinely happy that I did this. I am feeling so much more comfortable with JavaScript, and that was exactly the point. So there you go. Osloy says sometimes pages override it and make it search like a product list or something. Oh, interesting. I would be upset if a page overrode that because I use Control F all the time, find in page all the time. So, Dermosi says, I have a question. Can I share a link to an example to show you some concepts? Sure. Not, you won't be able to do it in the chat, but if you want to DM me on Instagram, go ahead and send me a link there and I can take a look. So there's that. If Angela J. Holden, I'm a Instagram doom scroller. I don't post as often, and when I do, it's like dev adjacent lifestyle type stuff. But if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, if you have a link, you are welcome to do so there. So, and just FYI, I do practice link safety. So, I scan links to make sure that they look safe. And if they come back clean, then I will generally, maybe, sometimes, occasionally click them and see what's going on there. So there's that. Okay, everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for the next task, which is resizable panels or split view. Can't wait to see what that is. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, and Dermoz is telling me what his username, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you to everybody who was in the chat. We had a chill day. I enjoyed this. Thank you, Malik Robinson, Gogo Elmo, for being our mod in the chat today. And there we go. Okay. Bye-bye.